What is up, you guys? This is JP. Two things I gotta go over first. One, if you guys want one-on-one training, online training, small group training, I am located at Self-Made Training Facility in Redlands, California. That's the gym that I'm training out of. I'm gonna be staying here. I'm not gonna be switching gyms anymore. You guys can comment down below and ask me about training. You can email me, message me on any of my social media platforms, reach me through my website. There's so many ways to message me. Just get a hold of me if you guys want to get any of that stuff. You guys want to work with me. Again, I help people reach their goals and helping them gain muscle, get stronger, and manage their weight. So if you want that, please contact me. Number two, I finally got all my gaming streaming setup done. It's been about 2-3 weeks that I've been talking about it, but it just took a lot of hassle. I had to get this Netgear Powerline adapter to make my connection through my PC and my console good enough that I'm able to stream. I was using Wi-Fi up until this point just to be able to play games, but I can't just use Wi-Fi for streaming. I was around 50 upload and download speed through Wi-Fi, which some of you may say, oh, that's still pretty good, but I mean, I would still get some lag because it's Wi-Fi. The upload and download speed doesn't tell the whole story. But right now, I'm Ethernet technically, but I'm not directly hard-lined into the modem. It's like through this Netgear adapter thing. It's not a Wi-Fi booster, it's a power line adapter. So right now I think I'm sitting at over 200 upload and download speed each. I think my ping was at like 5 milliseconds. So it's very good. I tested it, so you should be seeing the first gaming stream up within the next week. All right, on to today's video. Today's video is going to be about dropping in the hole during the squat and other exercises that kind of have the same setup in that sort of sense, but you'll get what I mean in a little bit. But specifically, we're going to talk about the squat and we're going to go from there. A lot of people who do the squat, they do the eccentric portion of the negative portion at various speeds. Now, if your goal is hypertrophy or if your goal is strength, you're obviously, some of you maybe for hypertrophy be going a little, like changing the tempo a lot to maybe get more gains. For lack of a better term, it's for time under tension. You may be going really slow in the negative to get more gains. That's fine. I did a video on that. I think going too slow in the negative is actually going to hurt your gains in the long run. But again, I still will acknowledge that there is going to be varied speeds on the eccentric portion of the movement of the squat and pretty much all exercises, whether your goal is strength or whether your goal is hypertrophy. So, but regardless, when you're going down in the hole in the squat, specifically for strength, we're going to be talking about specifically for strength. If you're going down too fast in the hole in a squat, if you're dropping down too fast during a back squat, that's not good. I know some people who drop way too fast during the back squat. The main reason why that's not good is because you're just losing stability during the lift. And again, I've talked about this dozens of times on this channel, is that you want stability to be high. Think about it. If I were to have you, this example is going to be a little bit exaggerative, but I'm just doing it to prove my point. If I were to have you do a back squat on a flat ground, then I had you do 1 rep, then I had you do a back squat on a mattress, had you do 1 rep, then I had you do a back squat on a Bosu ball, had you do 1 rep, and then I had you do a back squat on a trampoline with 1 leg, but I only had you do 1 rep. Each of those scenarios is going to get worse and worse and worse. Why? Because you have less and less and less stability. You're going to be able to generate less force, and you're going to ultimately, it's just the cascading effect. You're going to get less volume. It's just going to be not good for hypertrophy or strength. So that's what happens is on a very much smaller scale. When you just drop down in the hole during a back squat, you're losing stability and you're not going to be able to generate as much force, even if it's a little bit. It's not going to be as, again, exaggerative as those examples I just talked about, but you are going to be losing a little bit of weight that you're not going to be able to push. Again, it's going to have that kind of cascading effect on a much smaller level. Here in this example, I'm going to show you 3 different speeds of a squat. In this first repetition, I'm going to just drop real fast. Again, that's really fast. The second repetition, I'm going to go a regular speed, something more controlled. You know, it's not too crazy. It's got a good speed. Then the third rep, I'm going to go really slow. Now, the first rep, again, it has that issue of you just losing stability by dropping down on the hole real fast. The second rep that I did here is going to be a little bit slower than that first rep, but it's not going to be too slow. It's I definitely wouldn't consider it slow. It's fast enough that you're not wasting energy going down into the hole, but it's fast enough that you're still going to be able to get that benefit that from the stretch reflex of the stretch shortening cycle, so that you're able to come out the hole with a good amount of force. You know, you have all that passive tension on the bottom of a squat. Then the third one that you've seen right there was just it was really slow. Some people, I think I've seen Stan Efforting on YouTube do a really slow squat like that. Maybe not as slow as I did it there, or maybe he did. It was pretty slow, but that for a lot of people, that third rep that I showed you right there was going to be too slow. You're just wasting way too much energy on the way down. So again, what I'm trying to get at here is you want a good pace, especially for strength. I'd even argue for hypertrophy too. If you go too fast, you're not really controlling the weight. Again, you're kind of not really, you're just letting gravity do the work. If you go too slow, you're going to lower impulse, which is essentially the amount of force that you're generating over a certain period of time. It's essentially like force times time under tension. So if you're going too slow on the eccentric, you're not going to be able to do the same way as if you did a regular pace on the eccentric. You're not going to. Like if you did a 10-second eccentric, you're not going to be able to do as much weight as if you did like a 2-second eccentric. Think about it. You're using a heavier load if you're doing a 2-second eccentric. Again, because if time under tension was everything, then why don't you just use no weight and just have minutes of time under tension, because load actually matters. So if you're going too slow on the eccentric, that's going to cause a problem. And here you can see me doing the same thing with pull-ups. And this first rep right here, I'm going really fast. I'm just dropping essentially. In the second rep that I'm doing right here, I'm dropping at a regular pace. I'm not going too slow, I'm not going too fast. And in this third rep right here, I'm going pretty slow on the way down. Now again, some of you may make the argument for going slow is better for hypertrophy. I've already done a video on that. But in regards to strength, if you're trying to go heavy, going too slow on the way down is going to force you to not be able to use as heavy as a load. And if some of you say, well, I did use a heavy load. Well, you could have used a heavier load if you didn't go that slow. Now, if you go too fast, you're risking injury, you're risking stability. And I would say pull-ups, it's not as much of an impact as it is with squats. Squats, you definitely don't want to just dive bomb into the hole, but it's still the same thing with pull-ups. If you go too fast, you might start rocking, and the rocking can throw you off. And I know that firsthand, because sometimes I'll do pull-ups, I just have to stop, let my body, kind of lose momentum, because it eventually starts to turn into, like, I hate to say it, but if you just do pull-ups like too fast, it starts to turn into a shitty CrossFit pull-up. You just start doing kind of circles. So sometimes if I start to get a little bit too much momentum, I'll just stop, let my body kind of center, and then I'll continue the pull-ups. But again, through both of these exercises and exercises that are similar, you don't want to drop too fast into the hole or do the eccentric too fast for any exercise, but at the same time, you don't want to go too slow. If you go too fast, you lose stability. If you go too slow, you lower total impulse for that specific set, which again is going to lead to worse gains down the line. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down below. I know sometimes these videos can get a little bit complicated. If you guys have any topics that you want me to talk about in the future, please comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video and hopefully on the next gaming stream. Peace.